The Miami Heat were one game away from the NBA Finals a season ago, and the Golden State Warriors, of course, just recently won the championship. Our main focus on this video today will be on these two teams. Their records aren't even that bad either, but it's clear they're struggling more than they used to. But why? Why are they struggling? Their rosters are similar compared to what they were a year ago, so what's going on with them? How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today let's take a deep dive into the Miami Heat and Golden State Warriors. But before we start, I'd like to give a shout out to The Ridge for sponsoring this video. Here I have the Ridge wallet and the Ridge key case. The wallet holds up to 12 cards with an extra strap for cash. As you can see, it's much slimmer than your average bifold wallet, like mine. It comes with a lifetime warranty too, and it's available in over 30 colors and styles. This one is stone-washed titanium. The key case is burnt titanium, very light but durable and fits up to 6 keys. It holds your keys in place so you won't hear rattling noises ever again. Get the best offer with my link, ridge.com/AndyHoops. And right now, you can save up to 40% through December 22nd. That's ridge.com/AndyHoops. Steph Curry, at the age of 34, is absolutely tearing it up. A career high in points, and he's still shooting the ball as efficiently as ever. Honestly, statistically, you can make the argument that he's having the best individual season of his entire career. That's crazy to see. Andrew Wiggins is also having a phenomenal year. He's picked up right where he left off since the NBA Finals. Draymond Green is not the same player he used to be, but he's better this year than he was last year. Kevon Looney is still the same, so we can't blame any of these guys. The culprits are Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole, mainly Klay Thompson. He's taking the second most shots on the team, but out of everyone in the NBA who attempts at least 15 shots a game, Klay has by far the worst true shooting percentage at 46.7% as of this video. To give you an idea of how bad that is, his efficiency right now is literally as bad as Josh Smith on the Pistons. That's horrendously bad. I guess you could kinda blame it on his previous injuries. Klay suffered a torn ACL and torn Achilles in back-to-back seasons, but he was still far better last season. It actually looked like he was getting better and better as the playoffs progressed, and this season everyone hoped he'd get back to his usual form. Instead, the complete opposite happened. There's been a ton of other issues with the Warriors, but Klay's regression stands out. In fact, it's been a huge topic of conversation among fans and reporters. A reporter even asked Steve Kerr if he would ever consider benching Klay, to which Kerr responded, "No, that's not something I've given any thought to. Jordan and Klay are very different players. Jordan's more on the ball, Klay's off the ball. When Steph is off the floor, we absolutely have to have Jordan on the floor. It doesn't mean we can't change combinations and rotations to get certain guys on the court together, but Klay is a starter. That 5-man unit is the best in the league. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me to break up that unit." So does Kerr have a point here? I decided to look up the Warriors' best 5-man lineups on NBA.com, and he's actually right. Their lineup of Steph, Klay, Dre, Wiggins, and Looney have played the most minutes out of any other lineup, and they have a fantastic net rating of +24. The issue seems to come with their second most played lineup. The first 4 players are the same, but with Poole instead of Looney as the 5th. This is their classic small ball lineup with Dre at center, previously known as the death lineup in years past. But this year, the only team that's dying is the Warriors. Dre has obviously lost a step as well, and that comes with age. He can't guard most big men nowadays, especially those who are younger and more athletic and can actually jump. Additionally, pretty much all of their lineups that feature a significant number of bench players are doing horribly. Most of their bench consists of young guys, their high draft picks they acquired during their short time tanking. I'm talking about James Wiseman, Moses Moody, and Jonathan Kuminga. They have not progressed in a way the Warriors wanted to see. At this point, they were hoping they could develop more and eventually become core pieces of this franchise, but they haven't shown they're capable of doing that yet. Besides the inefficient scoring of their 2 main shooting guards, the Warriors are also turning the ball over a lot, averaging 16.7 turnovers a game as a team, the 3rd most in the NBA. It's indicative of their sloppy passing. It seems like a lot of players, especially the younger guys, are not reading their teammates correctly. They're not running plays correctly, they're throwing passes that simply aren't going to the right spots. The chemistry is just off, and it's been like that since the beginning of the season. Above all else, their defense has had the most drastic fall off. Last year, they were first in the league defensively, and now they're 27th. Here are some numbers that stand out. The Warriors are first in the NBA in fouls committed per game, with nearly 24, while also allowing their opponents to score 19 points a game in transition. It's a problematic area that the coaching staff has noticed as well, as Kerr mentioned what they need to do. Focus, defending by showing your hands, defending without fouling. Transition defense, making sure we're taking care of the easy stuff, and then boxing out and avoiding second opportunities for our opponents. But the biggest thing is the fouls. It's hard to win games when you're constantly sending your opponent to the line. That's been the main focus. Some reporters even cited a lack of motivation, which pissed off Draymond Green. This is a team that already proved they can win the title, time after time. But even championship teams wither away. Perhaps they're not as hungry as they used to be. Like the Warriors, the Heat's main core of players is basically the same as last season. I mean, they're not even doing that bad, but they did finish as the first seed in the East last year, and now they're fighting near the bottom of the playoffs. There's two main changes this team went through. The first was the loss of PJ Tucker. It was kind of a big deal. Now, I don't think he was worth the contract the Sixers paid for him, but he was still a very productive player in Miami. He was their best three-point shooter, and he shot the ball better than he's ever had in Miami. And he added a level of toughness on defense that this current team is missing. This led to the second major change, the lack of bench play. Because Tucker was gone, the team decided to move Caleb Martin into the starting lineup, who's basically getting molded into the same role Tucker was in. They also decided to move former Sixth Man of the Year Tyler Hero into the starting lineup, which means Duncan Robinson is now coming off the bench. This introduced a couple of issues. One, Hero is not only a way better scorer than Robinson, but he's also a much better playmaker. He's obviously the way better player than Robinson, but his skill set is redundant with Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry in the starting lineup as well. There's just not enough balls to go around. Robinson is a catch-and-shoot player who cannot create his own shot, so he's more suited to play with the starters, who can generate shots for him. Because of that, Robinson cannot carry an entire bench squad like Hero can, hence why he's having the worst season since his rookie year. On the other hand, Hero's skills are perfectly suited for the sixth man role, but in the starting lineup, he doesn't have the same opportunities he normally would. The next issue is, well, Caleb Martin is not as good as PJ Tucker, nowhere close. He doesn't provide the same level of toughness or the three-point shooting that Tucker does. Defenses leave him alone whenever he's on the perimeter, and that's created somewhat of a congested offense for the Heat. Here are some numbers. Last year, they were first in the entire NBA in three-point percentage at 37.9%. Now, they're 20th at 34.3%. On the flip side, they were also first in the league in defending the three-point line, holding opponents to just 33.9% from beyond the arc. Now, they're 24th in the league, allowing opponents to shoot 37.3% from three. That's why the Heat were so good last year. They were the best at making threes, and the best at defending them. It was quite a shocking stat, because their team didn't have too many sharpshooters. The reason they shot so well was because their spacing was so good, their starting lineup and their bench had phenomenal spacing. That's not the case anymore. By moving Martin and Hero into the starting lineup, the results are unfortunate, to say the least. The Heat's bench went from first in the league last year with 40.5 points a game to 23rd this season with 31 points a game. Overall, I don't think the Heat's struggles are as alarming as the Warriors right now. They've also struggled to close out games, losing plenty of tightly contested matchups, which is mainly due to their poor fourth quarter rotations. These things are fixable, and I think Hero should move back to the bench. Prior to the start of the season, I know he was adamant in wanting to prove he can be a starter, but we all know he can be a starter. It's just his team does better when he comes off the bench. When he was asked if he would consider coming off the bench again, he stated, "I've got everything to be a starter. I think obviously I've shown that I can be a sixth man, but I want to prove that I'm a starter as well." But Tyler, we already know you're capable of starting. Anyway, it's obvious that the Heat will be better with Hero off the bench, but does he want to come off the bench again? They've had so many close losses, so many winnable games to the point where a substitution here or there could have changed the outcome. Erik Spoelstra is and has always been a great coach, but this time, it seems like he knows what the right thing to do is. But he probably just wants to experiment a little bit more and then have a talk with Hero if it still doesn't work out. He's gonna have to make some decisions that won't make everyone happy. Heck, if he can deal with LeBron, he can deal with anybody. Anyway, that's all, folks. For both these teams, I don't think there's anything wrong with their personnel. I feel like both the Warriors and Heat have rosters that are capable of winning the title this season. It's just that some players, like Klay, are just severely underperforming, or they haven't found the chemistry yet with their teammates. For these teams, how do you see their seasons panning out? Do you foresee the Warriors repeating and winning back-to-back titles? Do you see the Heat reaching the finals this year? Both conferences are super competitive, and right now, they aren't looking so hot. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.